Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Cathrine.
My bestie.
And co-host.
Yes, absolutely. And neighbor.
And neighbor.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
We are here today, and we're excited because we're sharing one of our favorite little hobbies, and that is thrifting and dumpster diving.
Exciting.
I know.
I was really excited about this one.
Yeah. Why were you excited about it?
Well, because we have so much fun. It's something that is something that just energizes me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the thrill of the hunt.
Exactly.
So we are actually titling this episode. This is episode 7, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just tuning in to our little podcast, our baby podcast, we have 6 other episodes that you can listen to on our, do they call it a channel?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Our
Do
channel.
now.
If our kids were in here, they'd be rolling their eyes. Then they would say, please don't ever say that again.
Yeah.
That's what my 19-year-old always says to
yeah.
me. Please don't say that again.
I could use words that they're using, like drop an episode. And they'll be like, ugh.
So funny. So this one is episode 7. So if you haven't tuned in to our previous episodes, please do, because they're packed with a lot of fun and funny. And this one's called The Thrill of Thrifting and Dumpster Diving. Cathrine, share with our audience a little backstory about when you were a child and your first experiences thrifting and just how you loved it.
Oh, right. I did not love it. I hated it. My mom was very, very frugal.
And she still is.
And she still is. That's right. And so when I was very young, that's something that I think energized her. Just the thrill of getting something for less. It was like a skill. It was like a victory. I don't know how to describe it for her other than she just loved it. I hated it. Right. I would hide. She would drag me. She would drag me to auctions, and back then they were so smoky. So it was like the 70s and 80s, and they were just thick with smoke. I remember that the most. And we'd sit there forever waiting for just something she wanted. And of course, when it was time for people to bid on it, the one thing she would want would be in a box of a ton of stuff. And the auction people are, whoa, you can't even understand them. And they're and just to keep me quiet, she would say, well, I'll get you a hot dog. And I always said, I hate hot dogs. And they gave me headaches.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were probably, let's see, if it was in the 70s, 80s, like under 10 years old, right?
Yeah, well, from 10 to, I suppose I didn't go there when I was a teen because I could be left at home to watch the younger two. But so the auctions, sometimes estate sales. I can remember just one time being really hot on an outdoor estate.
And what would your mother be looking for, or didn't she know what she was really looking for? She was just looking at everything.
Well, I don't really know because I didn't care. And she didn't bother to tell me, really. But she would always bribe me. Well, for one, with the hot dogs, like I said, which I hated. And the other would be some junky antique toy that, probably smelled or, something like that. And we also went to garage sales and the I-80 flea market. The I-80 flea market, so that's I-80 is the interstate that we lived not too far from.
And we're in the Chicago area.
Right.
So if you're familiar with Interstate 80, as it runs through Illinois, there's this gigantic flea market that's right off the interstate. That's called the I-80 flea market. So what happened there, Cathrine?
Again, she bribed me with, I'll get you a little something. And so I used to beg to go to the concession stand, but I didn't want hot dogs. And she'd say, it's junk food. It's bad for you. And I thought, well, what are you going to get me? So one of the times that we went on this adventure, I found a wad of money on the ground. And I made the mistake of being honest and showing my mom. She says, ooh, we'll get something with that for you. So somehow she cons-
she didn't say turn it in to the lost and found?
Ash?
Yeah.
No.
She saw it as, hey, that's for me. I'm going to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So she buys some evergreens from, I guess, somebody selling evergreens. And when we got home, we're planting them. She said, they're yours. They'll be in your name.
How thrilling. I have evergreen.
Great. And, it's so funny because they did grow to be very big. They're still there. And I always think of that story every time.
Funny?
Like, she conned me.
She made you think those were Cathrine's evergreens.
Right.
In honor of Cathrine.
Right. But yeah, just everything frugal. I really despised for some reason. I think a lot of it was I just wanted things brand new that smelled new, and I wanted brand names. She used to, I didn't know any other moms who shopped at Aldi. We would go all the way to Joliet, which was about, 18, 20 miles from our house.
To save money.
To save money.
Yeah.
And she would con me with a quarter, and because you put the little quarter in the shopping cart, and then to ensure that you return the cart, so they don't have to hire people to put the carts in order. So she'd say, you could keep the quarter.
You sound like a tough nut to crack as a kid, you gotta keep a carrot in front of Cathrine or she's not gonna move.
Well, look at what I dealt with, right?
True. Right. Evergreens and all of that.
Yeah, we did all of it. We did the Hostess outlet store. I would kind of hide sometimes if I saw somebody from school, like, oh, and then I don't know if I ever thought about it. Like, well, they're here too.
Right.
Shopping discount.
Right. And the Hostess outlet store, if somebody's listening and they're going, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
And Hostesses are for sale. Hostess is a name brand we're in the United States. Is it still around? Because
they made a comeback. So remember, Twinkies went out, but they're back.
Well, we know that Twinkies, if a Twinkie is uneaten, it's still here somewhere.
That's right.
I just don't know if they're making new Twinkies.
That's right.
But we used to eat Hostess. What did they call them?
They had Wonder Bread.
I remember the cupcakes.
The cupcakes.
Oh my gosh!
Ding dongs.
Oh no, the cupcakes were so much better than the ding dongs because it was like a fudgy, battery cupcake with white filling, and then the top of it was the best part. It was like the frosting with that curly Q.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm salivating.
Do you miss it, Tracy?
I do. I want one.
Well, I liked the ding dongs because they were a little harder, I guess. But
they had like that hard chocolate coating on them.
They did, yeah.
My grandpa used to take to work with him the pies. Remember the Hostess pies?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And we would visit him, and once in a while, Grandpa would let us eat his pies.
Nice. You know what I hated about the ding dongs?
What?
They would be wrapped as two in one package.
What did you hate about that?
Well, I believe it or not, I didn't want to eat two.
Oh.
Just one.
Well, aren't you frugal with the calories there? Okay, well, that was a sidebar on Hostess and how it brings back memories of growing up and things. So it sounds to me like being frugal and doing things in the frugal fashion was just kind of uncool to you as a kid, as it probably is to many kids. We know that our own kids roll their eyes at us when we're out on our adventures.
Well, we're a little extreme.
We are.
My kids never cared that I shopped at Aldi, got off brands or anything like that, but
it's more so the dumpster diving. When we go dumpster diving, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but
they're scarred from because sometimes they came with us.
Right. We are okay, so Cathrine and I, if you don't know, we've been best friends and next door neighbors for a couple decades. And we would take our kids to things together, like the orthodontist and also piano lessons, things like that. Mm-hmm. We would group it together so that we could trade off with the driving. And oftentimes when we would take the kids to piano lessons, it was garbage day. So while they were in the piano lessons, we were out and about checking out the garbage.
That's right.
Who's throwing away something good? And one day we drop the kids off and then we're scouring the town for garbage, and we come back. The whole back seat is full. Our kids have to get in the back seat and you could barely see them. They look like E.T. in the closet with all the little stuffed animals around them, you know?
That's right. Well, do you recall we went to our church dumpster?
Oh, we did.
And our church friends in ministry, they had said, oh, just take this. So it was a lot of stuff from church.
Yeah. Well, they were getting rid of, they were cleaning out closets because we had limited storage, and they were getting rid of things that the youth group had, like games and stuff that they weren't using anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how fun. But now let's move into from how did you go from I hate thrifting as a child?
Mm-hmm.
What was the turning point for you where you're like, this makes sense to me? I'm going to do this.
I can't really recall an actual real transformation to where one day I was like, but I know that it was a growing experience. And I had this old fan in my room. It was one of those 1960s or maybe late 50s circular floor fans.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tubular like.
Okay.
It had legs, and it I thought it was pretty cool. Even then, I thought, oh, that's kind of retro. I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it to look better. It was a little rusty. And so I thought, well, my dad has paint around here. I think I'll get some paint and spruce it up. So I asked my dad how to get the rust off. He told me, and I painted it without asking. I didn't ask my mom, I should say, for the paint thing. And because I was afraid she'd say no.
Of course.
But she didn't even know where it was.
You should have offered her a hot dog. You say, Mom, if you let me paint this, I'll give you a hot dog. Right. Or name a bush after you.
Right. So I did that. And about the same time, my mom had this little wicker basket.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cute. And again, I wanted to spruce it up. Mm-hmm. And I did ask for a new one. And she said, no, you don't need one.
Because she's frugal.
And, to her, I could have just used a plastic bag or her garbage bin. But I wanted my own. So what I did was I painted it. So I put some tape around the area that I wanted to keep, and then I spray painted the rest. Mm-hmm. And it was, voila, brand new. Oh.
Cathrine was banging her fists on the table, and I can hear it in the headphones.
I know. I was looking at her like, what? She was signaling something.
Sorry.
And I thought she wanted me to raise my voice.
No.
Like, okay.
I was like,
gotcha.
We'll try to edit out the...
Oh, there you go.
That's what it sounded like.
Really?
Yeah. That's okay.
Oh, so that was the beginning of just a taste of transformation and what I could do.
So wait, you did the fan and the basket?
Mm-hmm.
Did you paint them the same color? What color did you paint them? Do you recall?
White.
Oh, very nice.
White.
So you say that was the beginning of sort of like that feeling of, wow, this is something that it's cool, but it needs some work. Then once you got the rust off and painted it, how did you feel about those items?
Great.
Yeah, they look great,
I think
right?
that's when I had a taste of, ooh, this is what it's like when someone says no, or I just can't buy it with my own money, or, I didn't have my own money then. So I just did what I could to make it look fantastic and brand new.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how old you were?
Ooh,
Teenager, maybe?
Probably.
Good for you.
Yeah, probably early, maybe even 13.
Now, once your mom caught wind of what you had done, was she upset with you because you had done it without permission, or was she sort of proud of you because you're following her footsteps?
Well, the funny thing is I can recall it was much later before she even noticed. Oh. She didn't go in my room, really, not really.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. So one time she said, "That's mine." And you did that, without asking.
The fan was hers, or the basket?
The basket.
Oh,
the waste basket. Okay. Or as she would call it, the rubbish bin.
Oh, right.
Because she's English.
Yeah.
So she'd say the dust bin, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So And she, was a little upset that I took it without asking and painted it.
But she let you keep it?
She did.
Well, there you
And
go.
funny, all these years later, so I still have it. And it's
Wow.
it's in my, I loved it. But then she had it for a real long time. She took it back. Somehow she got it back. I don't know if it's after I got married and I moved on. I left it behind. But my mom doesn't throw out anything.
I know. Well,
so
that's awesome.
She had it next to her chair with books in it. I saw it, and I asked her for it, and she didn't remember that I asked her for it. So then when I had it in my home that I'm in now, I thought, oh no, she's going to bring it up. But she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, did it again.
That's okay. So let's talk about paint. Since it was paint that sort of was the inspiration, which I love that story. I love that here, because they say that necessity is the mother of invention. And so you wanted something, and then the creativity kicks in, and you're like, how can I make this work? How can I make it happen? So let's talk about paint and the power of paint, because I feel like there are probably many people who are just like I was prior to doing any painting. I was afraid of it. I was afraid I would screw it up. I didn't know what I was doing. I was afraid to tackle it. So why don't you share a little bit about your experiences with paint?
Well, the next thing I remembered painting was there was an old brown metal bed that was given to us, I think, by my grandma. And it was, like I said, brown, ugly, in my opinion. And I somehow got a hold of some spray paint and took it outside, spray painted the whole thing. And oh my goodness,
Beautiful.
I was sold. Yeah, it was just completely transformed. It looked fresh. It looked new. It smelled new.
Oh, I bet. What color did you transform
White.
it to? Oh, see, that fresh from brown to white. Beautiful.
Yeah. So then it just grew from there. I can't even, I just did so many things after that. And I was not experienced at all. And somehow then it also, I just started dabbling with house paint. Now, I was terrible at painting walls because I had my own room, and I did try my hand at painting my own bedroom, and it was okay. But I was better at painting objects.
I see.
Yeah.
And I've watched Cathrine paint over the years. She's given me a lot of courage to just try things, because I remember going over to your house and watching you paint furniture. There is a technique to it. She takes the paintbrush and she dabs like down a big line, and then she does sweeping strokes after that. So it's basically like applying a little bit of paint all the way down the line and then just smoothing it out. But when she does it, it looks so natural and flowy. And then when I tried to do it, it's like trying to ride a bike for the first time. I'm like, what's happening? But one of the little tricks that Cathrine has taught me that I'll share here in case if somebody's listening and they could use this, if you happen to be painting a chair with a lot of spindles, or let's say you're painting a desk that has little tiny crevices in it, like little mail slots or something. Let's say you're painting it white. You can take spray paint and just shoot those little crevices with the spray paint, and then get the rest of it with a paintbrush. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, it gives it like a little booster shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It just helps it along, and then you can go over it, but it just eliminates a few steps, of priming and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about whittling in there and getting those little crevices and such. Another thing that I love about paint, I love that you can paint just about anything, from small to large. Like if you have accessories in a room, and let's say that your accent color in the room is orange, but you don't have a lot of orange accessories. Well, you can go to the thrift store and look for the shape of the item, the size of the item that you want, take it home and spray paint it orange.
Yep.
And then you could do that to a few other things in the room, and voila.
Exactly. Just get paint that says that it adheres to whatever item that you're picking up. And most of the spray paints, my favorite is Rust-Oleum. The way that it sprays out and the variety they have.
Yeah, and these days, unlike when you probably first started with that very first project, of the basket and the fan, today they have a whole aisle of spray paint, and for every different type of thing, for outdoor, for indoor,
Right.
So I think that paint is a beautiful way, small scale, to add accessories, to your home, but then on a large scale, one of the things I love is I love finding the perfect furniture piece at a thrift store, which I can see it right now from the Pod Lab. In my bedroom, I have a large, what would you call that, mid-century? I don't know what period that is.
Yeah.
Whatever time frame it was that they built that thing, they must have made dressers like tanks because it is so heavy that it would be hard for just Cathrine and I to lift that dresser and carry it. We would need, more
A team.
Yes, it is that heavy. And then I have the brand new dresser right here that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
This is brand new. We just bought it maybe 2 years ago, and it's basically made out of cardboard.
Yeah.
and we paid, I think we paid $200 or more for that, maybe closer to $300 for this dresser. The big heavy one, I want to say it was under $25. And then we painted it.
Right.
And it was brown. All the hardware was there. It was beautiful.
It had great bones.
Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to have to put a picture of it on our social media. We talked about doing that after this episode. And then on top of the dresser, Cathrine and I were thrifting at this one of our favorite thrift shops. Is a mirror that has a jewelry holder inside of it. It's so cool.
It is. It's really neat.
Yeah. And that was under $20. So for under $50, I got both pieces. And then I had to pay for paint and then paint it. So there was a little bit of labor involved. But I used farmhouse paint. So that's a chalk paint, if you're not familiar with that. Not a chalk paint?
It's not a chalk paint.
Well, it's, what do they call it? It's like forgiving.
Yeah, it's just a really durable paint.
Okay.
But chalk paint is different. You have to wax that.
Oh, okay.
It's not as durable.
Okay. Well, farmhouse paint is a paint that's sold at Evelina's Red Dresser, which is a store that we used to work at in Frankfort, Illinois. And our friend owns the store. So if you're in the Chicago area, which a lot of our listeners probably are because we've been sending this out to all of our friends.
Yeah.
But you can pick up farmhouse paint at any retailer that carries it. It's great paint and easy to use.
Yeah, it's furniture paint, but it can go on glass, metal, of course, plastic, even upholstery. So that's what sets it apart.
Didn't you paint something?
I did.
I remember that. So that's the beauty and the power of paint. And don't be afraid of it. Just give it a try, because really, what do you have to lose? If you take a piece that you got really cheap or free or from the curb, paint it, see how it comes out.
Yeah. And one more tip too about getting furniture from thrift stores. If it's older furniture, when they were made, the drawers were just as deep as the actual unit, like the housing of it. Furniture makers later started saving costs by making the drawers shorter, so they're not,
they don't go all the way back.
It's just not as much wood and product.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then also the older dressers actually come all the way to the edge. There's lots of things like that. So you're getting a lot for your money, which is barely any money. When you're getting something old and good.
Very good. Well, beautiful. All right. Well, the next segment that we wanted to talk about, a little segue here, is about one of our favorite places on the planet, and that is Goodwill.
Oh, Goodwill.
Don't we love Goodwill?
I love Goodwill. I can almost smell it now.
Goodwill has its own smell.
Well, in Illinois, as my cousin points out, most of the stores in our area anyway have like this, it must be a spray or something.
They do.
Yeah, but not all of the Goodwill stores, especially in Indiana, they don't have that spray.
Oh.
And it We like
better.
that smell.
Although I love Indiana because now I'm 55 years old and I am a senior.
Oh my gosh.
In Indiana, if I go shopping at Goodwill, I get the senior discount, but I don't get it in Illinois.
Wow.
I know. I want to go there. So Goodwill is all over the country. And, I was kind of upset that Goodwill got a bad rap. They had like some bad press that people were like saying, don't shop at Goodwill.
And don't donate there.
Yeah. And I don't know all the ins and outs. Maybe there's some legitimacy to it or whatever. But Cathrine and I both know people that work at Goodwill. And they love their job and they're grateful that they have Goodwill.
Yeah.
So I would say,
I think the big complaint is that they're not charity, whereas a lot of thrift stores may give to a cause,
Yeah.
or some kind of ministry or women's shelters, whatever. And Goodwill
they have employees though, and that's
they
their claim to
employ-
fame is that
Exactly.
you
They
give and we
people
give people jobs. So
Right.
that's their charity, is giving people a
Employing
livelihood.
people.
Yeah, that's their purpose, their cause. So Goodwill, and it's all over the country, and I have to share this with our audience because right now it's COVID time when we're recording this, so we're not on the road doing any fun events like in the past, and hopefully we will be back in the future. But when Cathrine and I would go and do comedy events, because she comes with me to almost 100% of my events, just to my encourager, my supporter, my bestie. She loves it, and she sells her jewelry there. So we drive, and where were we driving to? Was it Kentucky? We were going south somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember now if it was Kentucky or Florida or where, but it took us 3 days to get there. And it should have taken us like 8 hours because we kept stopping at Goodwill's. And then one time, this is a true story, we put into the GPS Goodwill. And we were in Southern Illinois, and we just listened to the GPS lady. We don't pay attention to anything else, and we're talking. And we were supposed to be going toward, I believe, Alabama. I think I had a show in Alabama. Well, in front of me was a big arch, and it was St. Louis. And I go, oh, I was driving
Opposite way.
and the opposite way of Alabama. And I go, Cathrine, how many cities do you think have a big arch? And she's like, one. And by then we're in a lot of traffic because we're getting close to the city. And I'm like, well, we have to go to the St. Louis Goodwill now because we're here.
Yeah, I believe it took us to a big, just a real big Goodwill outlet.
It was. But it was
huge.
so much fun.
Yeah.
It was. And then one time we drove up to a Goodwill and they had this big awning and it said drive-through.
Like they all do.
I know. And I don't know why. But on that day, I just had it in my head that we could pull up and place our order at the drive-through.
Yeah, she goes, oh, we could shop drive.
I don't know where my brain was. Like, you're going to pull up to the Goodwill people and say, I'm looking for a size 10 shoe. Could you go look, see if you have it?
I know you have vases. Just grab one for me.
I'll have the number 2. You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. People like us, like if Goodwill, okay, wait, just hear me out. Hear me out. If Goodwill had like a mystery bag, let's just say, and you could go through the drive-thru and give them $5 and then you get a mystery item. Did you buy it?
No. Salvation Army. Salvation Army, some of them. There's one up in Michigan, and they have a little surprise bag.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah, they do. And it's like $4, $5.
You don't get it?
Oh, no way.
Well,
I'm too picky.
Okay, but see, you've never tried it. What if you got it and you loved it? All right.
Well, you stumped me. I don't think I would, but it's, probably not.
All right. Well, another thing that I love about Goodwill, I have to say this too, is I love that I can walk in to any Goodwill anywhere and I can afford anything in there.
Right.
I just feel like confident. I feel like Oprah.
I was just going to say, you could buy for everybody in the store if you want.
Yes. You get a plate and you get a
I'm
plate.
feeling generous.
Why not? All right. Anything else we want to say about Goodwill?
Some Goodwills have specials on top of their already. Actually,
This is
all
true.
of them have every week. There's
The
a
color
color
tags.
tag that will be discounted. But some Goodwills, again, it's Indiana, not Illinois. They'll have a special, I think it's, well, let's just say it's toward the last Sunday of a month. And they'll have 50% off of everything, that kind of thing. So they rotate.
And they give you, like somehow, if you get their preferred shopper card or loyalty card or whatever, and they record your purchases every time you come, somehow you earn a $5 off coupon and you don't even know what's in there. And then they ring up your stuff and they go, would you like to use your $5 off coupon? And I go, yes.
It's a surprise. And then, so then you use it and then they say, do you want to round up for...
They do.
Yeah,
And
do
then
you wanna round it
sometimes
up?
I say no, and then I feel bad.
No.
They do. Okay,
Yeah.
but here's the thing with Goodwill. I don't know if they do this at all Goodwills, but they do at ours around here. As Cathrine said, at the end of your purchase, they ask if you would like to round up to the nearest dollar up in order to support their cause. So it could be anywhere from a penny to 99 cents. And do you know, sometimes if it's over like 50 cents, I'm like, no. Is that terrible?
No, but I have heard you say,
Yes.
and she's looking at me like, uh-oh, like, this is my cause. I'm shopping here.
Oh, boy. Sorry. Forgive me, Lord.
Well, it is true.
Well, I give them credit, though, for the ask. Hey, you might as well ask.
Right.
So I think that for the rest of the year, I'm saying this out loud to myself, or maybe for the rest of my life, whatever, I should just say yes. It's only $1. At the most, 99 cents. I should just say yes.
Okay.
I'll try. I think, you know what I think it is? I think it depends on how I feel about the good deals that I just bought. Like if I feel like I just got a really good deal on something, I feel like I'm more in the mindset, in the psyche of, yes, I'll give you 12 cents.
I think my decision is more based on budget. Do I have that in my wallet? Is that in my budget? No.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, Goodwill, good for you that you've got your mission, you stick to it, and you ask people to support it, and they do. So.
Right. And another reason why we just love Goodwill is because we can pretty much guarantee there's going to be one in almost every town that we pass.
This is very true.
So it's not just that we're just Goodwill advocates necessarily.
No, they're not even a sponsor of this show.
Right.
We should contact them. And you should see us. It's like we have Goodwill radar. When we're driving through a community, we're like, oh, I smell it. There's got to be a Goodwill.
Well, I always say, almost any time there's a Walmart,
there's a Goodwill.
There's going to be a Goodwill.
And you know what's funny about it is you buy the stuff new at Walmart, and then you go use it, and then you take it to Goodwill.
Well, it's probably what happens.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's move on from Goodwill. Let's move to how many furniture items or home decor items you have in your home. Previously loved things that you picked up either through thrift, dumpster diving, consignment store, auction, whatever.
Currently,
Yes.
I have 50 major items.
Wow.
That does not include like the smaller things, home decor, no, smaller home decor. But 50 currently, that does not include all of the things I got bored with.
Right, and then you move them
moved
along.
on. Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite things that you have?
Well, I think some of my most favorite prized possessions that I think that was such a good deal. And it was something I had in mind that I wanted before I saw it. So I have a coffee bar.
Oh, yes, it's so cute.
Oh, I love it. So the coffee bar is really just an old quarter sawn oak dresser. And it's just adorable. And it only cost me $12.
Love it.
It happened to be at Goodwill. And it's on casters. And so we took out, it had two big drawers on the bottom. We took them out. We used the front lip or rather the front face of the drawer, laid that down, put wood behind it, and now it's 2 shelves.
Yeah.
With 2 drawers, and it's just adorable. I knew it was going to fit just by my eyeball.
She's got a tape measure in her head.
Yeah. My husband said, "You better measure." I said, "No need." No need.
And her husband is very generous with his skills and helping you with projects like that.
Yeah, he
He is. He goes along.
He does. Also, there is a petite china cabinet that I have. Now, when I say china cabinet, you might be thinking, oh, those are dated. But this is just, it's petite. It's narrow, and it's
cute.
It's not wide.
Is that the one on your porch?
Yes.
Oh, it's really cute. It's like a display cabinet where you can put your favorite things that you want to display.
Right. If I had a bathroom big enough, I would put like linens and things in it, and pretty toiletries, things like that. That only cost me $6.99.
Wow. At Goodwill?
At Goodwill.
Wow.
Yeah.
See?
That
but
one?
you painted it, right?
I painted it.
Yeah, it's
oh,
beautiful.
Of course. Yes. And it smelled. It smelled old, and I really dislike that very much.
Okay, so that's a question that I'm going to ask you. I think I know the correct answer, but okay, can paint cover the smell of something that smells old?
Usually.
Okay. Do you have to use a special kind of paint?
That I'm aware of.
Okay.
I used to prime things beforehand to really, seal it in. But with the farmhouse paint, you typically don't have to do that in terms of odor. You don't have to at all just to paint it, but if it has a strong odor, you might want to. No.
Okay.
So, and then one other one is that Union Jack dresser.
Oh.
And that was a dresser that
do you still have that?
It's in Emily's room. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I pulled it out of a neighbor's trash.
I helped. I helped you.
Did you?
I did. I helped you drag it home.
Okay. I don't think so.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't it across the neighborhood? It was.
It was. And I remember the boys helped us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me.
Okay. Okay, Tracy helped.
I did the wood.
You definitely helped paint it as well.
Oh, and we painted it twice. Remember, we painted
3. I did. Yeah,
well, we painted it pink and orange, I think, or what were the colors?
No, it was pink, and then the colors of the Union Jack. So it was pink with navy blue and red.
Oh, okay.
And then thought that was just obnoxious after a while.
Yeah.
So then just true
blue and red
Union
and white.
Jack colors. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Remember the Eiffel Tower dresser
yes.
that we did? I don't even remember now how we got that dresser, but we decided somehow that we wanted to paint the Eiffel Tower on it. And we did, and it was beautiful, and we sold it in our friend's consignment shop. We put blingy things on it. I mean, it was so cute.
It was fantastic. I just came across the picture not long ago of the dresser.
We'll have to share that on our social media stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Any others? Any of your things?
Yes, and also I have 2 Pottery Barn rattan chairs, and I know initially they were very expensive, and I got those off of Marketplace.
Right, another great place to find things. And didn't you know the people that were selling it?
Yes, I did. I didn't know at first. I was communicating with the seller back and forth. I didn't care who it was. I just was back and forth. Didn't notice her name until just after some back and forth. And I was like, oh my goodness.
You know them.
It's, so-and-so. And we got a laugh out of that. Yeah.
That's funny. So those are all great stories. And I have, believe it or not, I counted up the items in my home as well. And I counted major furniture pieces and home decor pieces. And I counted 90.
Wow.
I know. Wow. Including the table that we are in our pod lab. We have a pub table and 2 chairs that we're not sitting on because they squeak. And so we are standing.
We're sparing you.
We are. But as I was going through my house, looking at all the things that I've purchased, pre-loved, I call them pre-loved. I love it. I don't know how much money I've saved by doing that.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Because I don't keep track of how much I spent on them. And then if you were to buy them new, I guess you could do all that math, but that's too much work. But I'll say this, nobody would come into my house and say, oh, this is terrible. This is all junk. No. It's not. It's cute. Mm-hmm. And it's so inexpensive.
That's right.
So Cathrine and I are going to take pictures, and she's already done some, and I'm going to do some too, and share them with you and hopefully inspire our listeners to do some of the same. Mm-hmm. All right. I can't think of any favorite pieces that I wanted to share. I already shared my dresser and my mirror, so I'll just share them on the photos. When we share them on social media.
What about the chair we recently rescued?
Oh, yes. Now that is mid-century modern.
Yeah, that is.
We went on garbage day. We went looking around our little town, and I actually saw a different chair that was upholstered, and Cathrine saw this mid-century modern chair that was buried underneath a bunch of other stuff, and she's like, that's really cool. So we drug it home, and we brought it into the house, and it seemed like it had a tumor. Remember?
Yes.
The cushion. So mid-century modern stuff is from what? The 70s?
No, 50s.
It's
mid-century.
Okay.
So the 50s.
Okay, so that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So the cushion, it was wet at some point or something, and it formed a hump, and it just
thinking about it's making me
sorry. Well, the two of us decided to tackle that project, and we had a blast doing it, and thank you so much for helping me with it, because it was way more fun to do with another, and I don't think I could have done it alone. Well, it was upholstering. I had never done that before, and it wasn't difficult upholstering, but we had to get the screws out, and that was tricky. I had to Google, how do you get a stuck screw out? And remember, I found the tip where you put a rubber band on your screwdriver.
Yes.
And stick that in there, and it gives tension when the screw's stripped. So there's another little tip for you. Mm-hmm. But now I love that chair, and I invested, I think it was a total of like $60 from the fabric store. We had to strip it completely, all the fabric off, and then it was like the cushion had disintegrated and formed a tumor, a hump.
Yeah, and it had this strange dust-like. It turned to some kind of dust-like bit.
Yeah, it was like sand. Mm-hmm. So we had to get rid of all that. So we had to replace it with new stuff, and we bought the pad and the fabric, as well as like a liner thing that we stapled on the bottom. It looks beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll check out our social media pages. We're going to put them on Instagram. Is that right?
Yes.
Catherine's daughter's helping us with that, because neither one of us are proficient with Instagram. Sorry. We're working on it. But our kids, they're good kids.
They are.
They help us, and they don't complain too much.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we do something nice for them. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's move on. I have a YouTuber that I wanted to share, and her name is Kristin McGowan. She is just adorable, and she has a whole YouTube channel all about thrift. And I watched her YouTube video called 5 Household Items You Should Be Thrifting. And she starts out in her car on the video, and then she goes into the thrift store, and you don't know what kind of thrift store it is, but it kind of reminds me of the one on 94th Avenue of Savers.
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So these are just some of the categories that she recommends. Give this a try. Thrift this. Instead of buying it new, thrift it. Anything metal decor. Look at the thrift stores. And then she does, of course, give the suggestion of spray paint. In the event that it's not the color that you need or want, you just spray paint it. She also said baskets, huge, for decor as well as for gift giving. You can really make a gift look nice by putting it in a basket. She talked a lot about mugs and dinnerware. And didn't I score after the pandemic? As soon as they opened up Goodwill, Cathrine and I went. Right? We were like...
We slept on the sidewalk. Come on, tell them the truth.
We were like addicts, like, they're back.
Let us in.
And we had to wait in line in the whole bit because they could only have so many people.
Yeah.
Well, we get into the Goodwill, and I found the most beautiful dishes, those vintage I think they have like a flower, a poppy flower on them or something like that. They're gorgeous.
They're stoneware.
Yes, and they can go in the oven. They can go in the freezer. And I got them for $1 a piece. They were gorgeous. And a whole set of them. So either somebody,
Right.
something happened and they got rid of the dishes.
I don't like to think about.
I know, I don't either.
I really, it. By the way, audience, that comes over time sometimes. Getting over the, just thinking about where it came from.
Oh, yeah.
For some people like me, or even the germ thing, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. So anyway, this girl, Kristin McGowan, she talks about getting mugs and dinnerware at thrift stores, also kitchen items. Whether you're starting out new and fresh in your kitchen, or let's say that you just want to try something different, like fondue pot or something, go look at Goodwill, see if they have it.
Definitely.
Because there's somebody with a fondue pot that's just sitting there that they're not using.
Yep. And if it's electric, most thrift stores have an electric outlet that you can plug it in to see if it works.
Yeah. Also, serving pieces.
Yes.
Like glass domes and cake plates and large bowls.
Oh, you can so dress that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are just some tips from Kristin McGowan, and check her out on YouTube because I just really I subscribed to her channel.
Did you?
Oh yeah. I'm like, I think I could like this girl.
It's funny because I looked up similar. What are the things you should buy the most that you could use over and over at thrift stores? And same thing. This gal, her blog is Blesser House.
Oh, cool.
BLESS''ER house. And she said those same things. Frames and mirrors, again, because you can switch them out, paint them, and you could always just do whatever you want with them. Vases, bottles, and candle holders. There's just, you can find some really gorgeous ones. Dome clocks, though, was one thing that was different. And when I first read it, I thought, ugh. But when I saw what she did, it was so neat. She took out the guts. So they're like anniversary clocks and dome clocks. She took out the guts, made it like a cloche.
Okay.
And put, just switches out the decor that's inside. Yeah. And same thing with the dishes, pitchers, and servingware, lamps, light fixtures, baskets. So really neat.
Fun. Well, hopefully we've inspired you in some way to take a look at thrift, consignment, and secondhand. Why don't you share with our listeners your trash facts? Share that.
Well, I thought it was interesting that the EPA reported furniture accounts for 9.8 million tons of household waste. And that was by Reuters. Reporting that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the EPA reported it, but Reuters posted it or whatever. And and I looked, and it was consistent every year because when I first pulled it up, I had 2009. But when I looked, I was like, year after year, it was between 4% and almost 5% of
that's a lot.
Furniture waste. Yeah.
But doesn't it make you feel good? I know it does.
Yes.
When we rescue something from the curb right before the garbage man comes.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes he's out and we're like, we gotta get out before he gets it.
Yeah.
But
or sometimes the other junk man is coming and we're like,
no,
that's our turf.
that's our garbage.
Right.
That is so funny.
I know.
Wow, that's a lot of trash.
Oh, it is. It's a shame. And furniture is the number one least recycled item in a household.
Yeah, and I'm recalling the time that remember the gentleman who was overwhelmed, and he was actually putting full dressers outside.
Oh yeah.
Because family was moving in, and it happened to be garbage day, and we happened to be, I think maybe, I don't remember the circumstances of how we ended up in front of his house, but we went and talked to him, and he was happy to let us take those pieces, and I still have them. My kids are still using them.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I think people are just overwhelmed.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're overwhelmed, and they just might not have the means to take it somewhere.
Right.
And they don't have the money to hire somebody to come and get it. And not all thrift stores pick things up for you.
That's true.
A lot of times you have to take it there yourself. So
yeah, so no shame in our game.
oh no, we should have an ambulance that says we're here to the rescue.
Furniture 911.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
That is part of what was so embarrassing for our kids, is that they would be just mortified that we would go through someone's trash and pick something out of it and take it home and use it.
That's right. I was just reminded of how lucky we've been on some things. I was thinking about when I was a kid, I was mortified when my mom did it one time that I can recall, and it was a fire ring that she picked up. And I just, I hid under the car, like, as low as I could go. Well, then not too long ago, I had said to you and to my husband, I said, oh, we really need an outdoor fire pit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just look for one and be patient. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I think,
same day.
within days. So was it same day?
Well, we were out on a walk and there it was.
Yeah.
And we lugged it home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one more stat is at the time, this was before 2015, but it said by 2015, it was estimated that we will have spent $121.7 billion to refurbish our homes with brand new furniture.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And, part of it is just the fun of it. I encourage people to make a plan, right? Make a plan for your room. I did that with my bedroom because we did a home renovation. We downsized our home. We bought a small home and it only had 2 bedrooms and it had a 1-car attached garage. So my husband, who is in construction, he took on that project himself to convert it to a master bedroom. Well, I wanted to decorate it. So I made a plan, drew it out, kind of like they do on HGTV,
Mm-hmm.
And Ashley Furniture actually has a free tool that you can use on their website where you can put your exact dimensions of your room into this tool. You can place the windows right where your windows are. And you can make a plan. Like, this is what I want. I want these colors. I want this kind of a dresser. I want this here, this there. And then just make it happen.
Mm-hmm. It's so neat to create.
It
and
is.
make it come to fruition.
Yeah. And then if you're patient, you have to be patient to wait. Mm-hmm. So, for example, in my plan, I knew that I wanted a bench at the end of my bed.
Yeah.
And I had it in the plan. And I was like, I'm going to wait. And I had the money to purchase a new bench if I wanted one. But all the benches that I was looking at were, hundreds of dollars, at least 200 or more. And I was like, I don't want to spend that much money. Mm-hmm. And remember, we were at Goodwill.
Was it Goodwill?
It was.
Yeah.
And there was this, I think it was like a TV cabinet, like somebody would put a TV on top of it, but it was low to the ground. I'll show a picture of it on our thing. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
$10. It has
great.
one blemish on it, but I just put a candle over the top of that and it disappears. So come up with a plan and make your plan for your room and then be patient.
Yeah.
And wait, because that's part of the game is just being patient, waiting, and then it will appear.
Yeah, that's just it, that a lot of us, we have that desire for instant gratification.
Well, sure.
And so sometimes I'll get something new that I know it just is something in mind in particular. And I'll have to wait forever to really find it at a thrift store.
Yeah,
so,
and there are some new things that we have too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other tips or anything like that to share?
Well, those were just some facts, but just some tips where and how you can save money. Most of it we've said that the dumpster diving is
Love
one way,
it.
but I would say I would not take things that are upholstered. Even when I go to thrift stores, I don't normally like to take things that are or buy things that are upholstered. You can, but
you never know.
Yeah,
they could have like dwellers stuff in there.
I'm not even. Yeah,
okay, let's
my
not say
mind
it.
is going. But with some things that are smaller, here's a tip. I freeze things.
Yes,
I
she does.
freeze fabrics.
She puts her clothes from Goodwill in the freezer.
I do. And even sometimes if I do see like a pillow that I really, really like, not a sleeping pillow, but a throw pillow, I will take the guts out, like the fiber or whatever the filling is, and I will freeze the case.
Okay.
And then wash it several times. Do that. But other places that you can go to, of course, there's all kinds of thrift stores, and a lot of them have really nice, like a cause,
Yeah.
or a ministry or something like that. So it helps other folks out as well,
sure
and
does.
organizations. Garage sales and estate sales. Sometimes estate sales can be, it just depends. Sometimes they're not so much of a bargain.
The beauty of estate sales especially is that today you can get a good look at a lot of what they have online. A lot of estate sales put all their pictures online.
Garage sales do too.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there
Not
you go.
all of them, but they do.
Evelina's Red Dresser, my very favorite consignment store here in the Chicago area, they post the majority of their merchandise online, and I go to their website. Like I was looking for wall decor for my bathroom, and I want to support Evelina's first.
Yep.
So I was looking almost every day at their new arrivals, which I love that they have their things sorted that way. So I don't have to sift through all of the stuff. I can just look at all their new arrivals to see, because that's the game. It's like the hunt.
Yeah, it is.
You have to look.
Yeah.
We are hunting rabbits.
And it's such a thrill when you find it.
Oh.
It's like, look what I did.
It is.
This is such a, yeah. So I had that on my list as well, is consignment stores. They're everywhere now.
Yeah.
And yes, our favorite one in our area is Evelina's.
Mm-hmm.
Flea markets. They're a great place to save some money. Marketplace online.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's very cool. That's a great way to... that was another favorite. I just got a leather sofa that reclines.
Yeah,
and
it's very
was a
comfortable.
very expensive sofa that I got for $500. So, and it's all leather. And also, too, don't turn your nose up at hand-me-downs. If somebody that you know says, hey, I've got this mattress. No, I'm just kidding. Not the mattress. But other things.
Dining set or, anything like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right. And also, you can go to Restore. I think they're
Habitat. Well, Habitat for Humanity has restored. They probably are nationwide. I'm not sure of that. But if you're not familiar with Restore, check online. The ministry nonprofit organization Habitat for Humanity, they build homes for low-income housing, and they're a wonderful organization. And Restore, they partner with like local
businesses, builders.
Yeah, and they take their like leftovers, like if they have leftover lamps or lighting
Sinks.
Fixtures, stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah, you
building
get some good
materials.
stuff in there. Sure,
right. So if you are doing something with construction, that's a good place to go to.
Yeah.
So, and even some of these discount places that we've mentioned, they will even have a clearance item. So it's like clearance on top of clearance.
Yeah.
And I was always, I can't remember how long ago, but thing I always keep in mind is stores with concrete floors are where you're going to save money.
There you go. That rhymes.
I know.
It's easy to remember. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, one more.
Okay.
Dumpster dive behind retail stores like Office Max, Home Depot, big box stores
They
like
throw
that.
stuff out.
They throw things out all the time. Returns, things that are no longer in circulation, but you can really get a lot.
With dumpster diving, just make sure it's actually garbage and not, like part of their decor or whatever,
Yeah.
You don't want to go up to their front porch and take something off of it.
Yeah, we've been in positions where it's kind of questionable.
Right.
So we have knocked on a few doors.
Right. Is that garbage? Can we have it? Our kids, remember, I don't know if it was my son or your daughter who called us like raccoons.
Yeah, oh,
yes. They said our moms are like raccoons on the garbage.
Oh, my goodness.
So goofy. All right. Well, you have anything else to share there, Cathrine?
No, that's it. I think we've said quite a bit.
Yeah, we have, because it's totally fun. It's a fun pastime. It's a fun passion. It's a fun hobby that anybody can do. So we encourage our audience to do that, and don't fret about spending a lot of money on your furniture and home decor, because you don't have to.
Right.
Well, let's leave our friends here with some encouragement from the Word of God.
Yeah. So one of my favorite scriptures, especially in terms of transformation, and I put this on my business card for when I upcycle jewelry, 2 Corinthians 5:17, which says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just one of my favorites about the old is gone, the new is here, transformation.
Yeah. So let's remember that when we're recreating something or transforming something into our home and our home decor. All right. Well, friends, thanks for joining us on this episode of Life Happens, Laugh Anyway, and we hope you'll come back again.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.